The first thing I want to discuss is the basic swing feel, and most importantly, the relationship between drums and bass. So we're going to play here and try to really create some energy between the two of us. If drums and bass aren't locked in, we're in big trouble. So, Connor, would you play with me here? 1, 2, F, blues, 3. So we obviously focused on the quarter note because that's at the root of the swing feel. And within the quarter note, we have the triplet subdivision. If I were to give one idea to the drummers, it would be something like this. Quarter notes on the ride cymbal and 2 and 3 of the triplet on the snare drum. It sounds something like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Before we move on to the other rhythm players, I want to mention the importance of the ride cymbal and the hi-hat. For the jazz style, the swing style, those are the two most important elements. One global feature that we have to always keep in mind as rhythm players is the topic of clarity. We want to make sure that everything we do is very clear. And the rhythm section has the tendency or the ability really, to muddy things up. They can do it in a variety of ways with the volume they play and the notes they play and the comping rhythms they play and the voicings they play. So I want to give you an example. I want to give you an example of a less experienced rhythm section sound or concept. What you'll hear is perhaps the bass being a little boomy. There might be too much bass drum. The guitar will be strumming and hitting some of his lower strings. And the piano will have the pedal down, which often happens, and using kind of root position chords. So here is a less experienced jazz feel. Here we go, F blues. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So Kevin, can you play a little bit of what you were playing as an inexperienced player and then correct it for us? What you're going to do obviously is get away from those lower strings, don't strum so much, and focus more on three-note voicings and things like that. Can you play a little bit of both for us? Great. And once again, the less experienced player with the strumming and the low strings. Play that again. Great, thank you. That really adds to a denseness that we really want to avoid in the rhythm section. Alex, can you play a little bit of the pedaled chording? 1, 2, ready, play. Connor, can you play a little bit of an inexperienced player's bass line? 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now that sound got very boomy, and so we always have to be aware of that, of the bass sound to make sure there's not too much low end. Fellas, can we clean up all these elements and just play a nice, clear, basic rhythm feel? Quarter note based on the cymbal and hi-hat focused, nice bass sound, guitar comping, that's 3-note voicings and on the sparse side, and piano voicings that don't use too much pedal and that are really just thirds and sevenths. Real simple. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the result there should be a clean, nice, precise rhythm feel. It swings with the bass and drums as the foundation, but the piano and the guitar aren't cluttering up the mix with whatever they do. And also our volume was really adjusted so it's not too loud. Now, in jazz charts and in big band charts specifically, they deal with jazz feels or swing feels, but they also deal with shuffle feels. And I'd like to demonstrate the difference between a swing feel and a shuffle feel. The difference really is one thing. A shuffle is focused more on beats 2 and 4. So every one of us in the rhythm section are going to do something a little different to really pull off this really important style. On the bass, I'm going to ask Connor to, in his walking bass line, emphasize 2 and 4, but more importantly, I'm going to ask him to come up with a bass line that's somewhat repetitive. So instead of just a walking bass line, he's going to come up with something that repeats from bar to bar, and it's going to give it a deeper feel. Same thing with Alex on piano. He's going to do kind of a planing idea that is somewhat repetitive versus just the comping that he did on the jazz feel. So this is going to give it an entirely different feeling and intensity. On guitar, we'll ask Kevin to, same thing, come up with a rhythm and stick with that rhythm, and then combined, it all just will propel the music with one solid shuffle feel. On drums, it's very important that we hone in on 2 and 4 on all the limbs. We, of course, have hi-hat on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3. But now we got bass drum. I'm actually hitting 2 and 4 a little stronger on the bass drum, which is just going to give that groove a little something extra. On the snare drum, now instead of interplay and triplets, I have pretty much a backbeat. And on the ride cymbal, I'm going to use the shoulder of my stick a little bit on 2 and 4 to give it a thicker sound. Can we try this? Here we go. Shuffle, key of F. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. Connor, could you play a shuffle bass line? Now, you will notice that with his bass line, there was a hint of a ride cymbal beat in there, which really helps the groove. So when we listen back, listen for that ride cymbal thread. Okay, Alex, can you play a good shuffle piano part? Kevin, can you play our new and improved shuffle guitar part? Now let's put it all together and you'll hear how the piano and the guitar work together rhythmically, but yet they don't get in the way of one another. And the bass and the drums will really lock in this 2 and 4 foundation. Here we go, fellas. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now we'd like to play a musical example that puts these two concepts together. The concept of a shuffle groove, and then when the soloist plays, we'll just go to a straight swing feel. So we hope you can hear both and notice the differences within the rhythm section. Here we go. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.